Let us talk about the markets then for 3 minutes. And let's start with the BOJ. And in fact, I'm going to allow you to take a victory lap here because you were right on the BOJ. You seem to be right on the SMB this week, saying that, you know, if you're not sure, err on the side of a hawkish surprise. I've lost track of the things you were right about. It's very infuriating. Right on the ECB as well, and in not giving out too much detail. It's been a good week. So what do we expect from the press conference?
It has been a good week. Maybe we should focus on the few things I got wrong. Bank of England, I thought they might hike 50. They didn't. And S&B, I'm a bit annoyed I didn't stick confidently to 50 basis points, as I said on Tuesday. I kind of backtracked down to 25 basis points, but they did hike. Look, I think it has been a good week. There's still 2 more things to go on kind of central bank front. There is the BOJ press conference, and I think that will disappoint the hawks as well. I don't think we're going to get any comments about yield curve control, and even that they're going to review it in July, which is what some people are still betting on. They might talk about the yen, but not in a very forceful way. So I think that's still going to disappoint people. The other thing in central bank still is this ECB thing. And I think it's important to say that we don't have details again yet. And ultimately, I think this will be quite a powerful tool, but it's going to be confusing for markets because it might bring in spreads, but they're going to probably sell down bonds to then be able to buy some of the peripheral spreads. There's quite a few details to be worked out. We're going to have quite a few weeks where we have a lack of clarity, and markets will probably push the central bank in that period. OK, so that's something to watch for in the intervening period. On the BOJ, though, you don't think it's possible to tweak? I mean, we have had tweaks to the yield curve control policy in the sense that the bands have changed. So is that the sort of thing we should look? So in 2018, we got that in the press conference, not in the statement. They then changed that subsequently, and I think that is the new policy going forward. Hey, we're not going to do this in the press conference anymore. It leads to too much uncertainty. What some people are still betting on, though, is that... So first of all, there are some people who are going, they might still do it in the press conference. They won't. I think that's pretty much definite they won't. The bit that's a little bit more probability, but I still think they won't, is that they might kind of guide towards yield curve control change in the future, i.e. we're looking at the policy, we're studying it, hinting that they're going to change in July. That would be a disastrous move. Now, I'm not against the idea that central banks do make disastrous moves and you mess it up. But if they give traders an inch, traders will run a mile. So they cannot give a hint that they're going to crack on yield curve control until they actually do. Okay. And that's why I don't think they will today. OK, obviously a heavy selling day in the US yesterday. We might bounce a little bit today, but sentiment's still pretty negative. US credit, also, I read quite a lot in the last 24 hours about warning signs there for US credit. Is that something that worries you? Very much so. I think it's kind of a growing thing in the background here. We've kind of been talking a bit more in recent weeks. We're going to be talking about it much more, because that's ultimately when you see a real crisis come. Every financial crisis is ultimately a credit crisis. As for the relief we're getting in US stocks, I wouldn't bet on that kind of being particularly good into the Friday's close. If anything, I could see us being a little bit soggy again. As I said, though, I'm more watching for the next crack there, being crypto might drag us lower, but don't look for a relief bounce in the short term in stocks. Yeah. And credit will become more of an issue in the coming months. So Bitcoin actually flat today, which is just an exceptional state of affairs. I mean, that doesn't usually happen. What role is it playing? Is it leading or following at this point, just briefly, Mark? Well, at the moment, it's been flat the last couple of days, so it's following. It's kind of ignoring what's happening in stocks. So there's this big battle around this 20,000, 19,500 level. I think ultimately that breaks lower, and I think that'll be another wave of panic for stocks. I'm actually looking for the short-term panic moment to be reached in the next week.